So I've tried to get into this show for the first 2 seasons. It didn't work for me. I can't get into it. But there are a lot of you guys who watch Potomac who wanted me to review it. So I'm going to give it a shot for about 3 weeks to see if the show can hold me. So far, the first episode wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. I did have some things to talk about. My issue with this show was that I just wasn't interested enough. There wasn't anything like to really discuss. But there were a few things this episode because I feel like they finally had some real drama that we can really talk about. So without further ado, let's get into this review of The Real Housewives of Potomac. Karen and Ray's tax problem, or Black Bill Gates. I swear this whole franchise, like all the Housewives shows, I feel like The Real Housewives, any show, OC, Atlanta, New York, Potomac, I feel like these shows just births felons and scammers because so many castmates go bankrupt or get arrested by the government for like frauding because they're trying to keep up with the Joneses. And I feel like this is what is happening with Karen. And yes, her husband is saying it's a business thing, but I feel like her entire presence on this episode was clearing her name. And she did something that I did not like. And I think that is something that her husband is going to take into account because it seems like later in the season, they're going to be having some marital problems. But like she's asking him all of these questions. And I feel like she's asking him these questions so that he can take all of the blame and not put any of it on her. But I don't buy for 1 second that she didn't know about this. You know what I mean? This whole somebody told us 2 hours before it was going to be released. I do believe that. But she knew about the tax problem. You mean to tell me you lay down with this man every night and you don't know that he owes like $2 million in taxes off his business? That's how you get in them shoes. That's how you get in them bad lace fronts. That's how you getting these big dusty homes in areas that nobody knows because he's not paying on certain things so that you can get the lavish lifestyle. Yes, you knew maybe it might not be your fault, but it's your fault inadvertently because he's doing certain things to give you a lifestyle that you force him to give you or you leave him. Like that's the thing. Like so many men do that with these women who are only with them for the money. So they start to do certain things to impress them or to keep them because these women are with these men for one thing, status and money. So when you stop providing that, when you stop providing those things, the man who knew the only way he got this woman was because of the money starts doing little backhanded things to please her. No, it's not her fault per se, but I do feel like Black Bill Gates was doing things to give her a lifestyle that she was accustomed to from when they first met. And she did something, like I said before, I'm going to get to it. She did something that I did not like in her opening scene. She was saying, like when she was talking to him about the tax issue, Black Bill Gates said something about coming after us. She's like, they're coming after me. He was like, oh no, they're not coming after you. He said, it's going to be on me because it's my business. And she was like, oh, thank God. Honey, your husband is in a financial situation. You're, somebody who you're supposed to be his rib, your partner, till death do us part, sickness and in health. He's talking about a situation that is obviously stressing him out. That, honey, if he dies, it's going to be on your head. So you still need to be concerned. But the fact that she was relieved that it wasn't on her and didn't show any compassion to her husband. I don't really watch this show, but that moment let me know everything that I needed to know about her because I felt bad for that guy in that moment. You know what I mean? Like, I don't get mad. I don't really feel bad for rich people who are getting caught in tax problems or anything because they're trying to scheme a little bit off the top and scam or whatever to live a certain lifestyle. I'm not saying I don't feel bad, but it's just like when people who are poor do the same thing, they get thrown under the jail. Y'all get a tap on the wrist. So it's just like, nah, my heart doesn't bleed for scammers, okay? But I felt bad for him in that moment because I think in that moment he realized, or at least I as a viewer saw, that he was in it on by himself. Like he did not have a partner. Like for me, at least as the viewer, I saw that he was in it by himself. You know what I mean? I think he saw it as well, that he didn't have a partner. She showed her cards and I saw exactly what she will do to him if the IRS or the government comes and takes him away, she is going to make sure everything for her is set up and that he takes this fall. Because she was even mentioning they have separate bank accounts. They don't pay everything together. She does it. Her stuff is separate from his. And I'm like, why are you even doing that? You know what I mean? Now, listen, I'm not saying be Teresa Giudice and go down with your husband if you really don't know anything. The problem is Teresa knew, but she started to separate from her husband too late. You know what I mean? Like, she started this whole storyline of her not knowing anything and making sure she's talking to everybody so they know that she doesn't know. She did it too late. In the beginning, she was riding with her husband. No, he didn't do this. He didn't do that. And I'm like, honey, that was the time for you to start making the paperwork was okay, to make sure you were clear, to make sure your name wasn't on certain stuff, but you were accepting gifts. Your name is on the house and all this stuff. So you knew that he wasn't bringing in this kind of money. I get that some women are ignorant to some things, but let me tell you something. You laying down with this man every night, you sucking on him and birthing his babies. You know what he's doing with that money. Women are the best accountants that God has ever created. We know how to count a coin because we know how to spend it. So I'm not buying that the women don't know. You know, but the man is supposed to take the fall because that is the patriarchal society that we live in. So I get her trying to clear her name. I just hated the fact that she was doing it at the expense of her husband on national TV. It was ugly. It was ugly. Girl, listen, you don't got to go to jail. You can stay out and make sure that everything is okay and take care of everything for your husband. The fact that you showed that you were relieved that everything was on him and not you in his face. For me, I was just like, wow, that was utterly disrespectful. And I don't know enough about Karen, but I felt like in that moment, I got exactly who she was, and it's ugly. It sucks, and it happens so often within the Bravo family. These people try to keep up with the Joneses. They come on faking the funk, probably lying and casting, and saying that they have this money or whatever, and they do these backhanded things to keep up appearances on the show so that you can think that they are these billionaires and millionaires or whatever, and they all end up getting caught in something. You know what I mean? I remember Teresa's season when she was bragging about that house. Then the season before last, she was crying because her husband weren't really paying on the house or frauding the government and lying about, you know, the monies that they were getting in to pay for the house and not paying contractors and all of these things, and then trying to file for bankruptcy. All of this mess and getting caught because you want to have the biggest house on the Real Housewives of New Jersey. Like, listen, if you don't got it, don't come on the show, because this is the thing that nobody gets. The government is watching you for loss. Let me tell you something, and I only know this because I'm hood, okay? And I got hood family members, okay? You know, let's just say hypothetically, I have a cousin who was, you know, like dealing drugs, okay? Hypothetically. This cousin had been living, like this cousin went from living in like the projects to like this really amazing home in like a really nice part of like the outskirts of Philly, right? You can't do that tax bracket jump within a year. He immediately alerted the feds. How you gonna go from living in the projects to living in a 3-story mansion driving a Bentley within a year? You ain't hitting no lottery. Even if you hit the lottery, they're not giving you that much money. It's like not making any sense. They watched him for years till they had enough on the dude to put him and everybody who was in cohorts with him in prison. And when we, well, hypothetically, when we found out everything that they were looking at, like the government, like y'all have no idea how powerful the government really is. Like they were looking at everything. Every person that called, every Facebook friend, like they watched everything, and 20 people went down, are down for good. Because what the feds do is they don't get you on the first thing. They wait till like the 10th thing because they want to make sure you do some hard time and pay them restitution. You pay them with your service, okay? Because people don't realize when you're in prison, you're working. Prison is just slavery. You know what I mean? It's just another form of slavery. You're working off your debt, okay? So you're doing things like we don't realize how many things are made in prison. You're making clothes, you're making license plates, you're keeping up the appearances in rich neighborhoods. Like you're picking up trash. Like you just literally become a slave of the city. until you have served your time. And then you got to pay your restitution. Then you got to pay back the government and the prison system for the time that they house you for them 10 or so years. Because if you realize everybody that frauds the government do 10 years easy. That's just starting. That's why they wait. Because they want to make sure they got you for at least 10 years. Dummies. Don't go on these shows if you don't have no money. Don't be showing Gucci and Birkin bags and then filing your taxes and saying you only made $5,000 that year. What are you doing? Wake up. But this always happens because people are trying to keep up appearances. The feds is watching everything, baby. They are the biggest reality TV show watchers ever. Let me tell you something. It is not a game. They watch them rappers and all them artists floss them cars. They watching their Instagram. They watching them floss them cars. They watching them floss that jewelry and all that stuff that y'all putting up and posting. And then they're watching how you file your taxes. And if you keep on, oh, they didn't catch me last year and not gonna catch me this year. No, because they're waiting. They're gonna get you in year 6 when you ain't got no more of that money and you can't fight. Telling you, our government is smooth. Y'all better stay woke. That was all hypothetical. One of the main reasons why I checked out of this show, aside from it being very boring, Ashley and Michael, I didn't like that couple. It was just very uncomfortable. I felt like I was watching, she wasn't even a kept woman. I just felt like the way he talked to her was like he was her pimp. He always kept her by the string with this money. And I was just like, I was into it at first because I was like, hopefully she's on this show trying to secure the bag for herself, because that's what a lot of these women do when they're in, situations or situationships, marriages where they marry for money and they're marrying this old dude, and then they get on these reality TV shows and they start making their own money and creating products and getting in their own kind of wealth to sustain them outside of what the man does for them. They start to think, do I have to suck his old balls anymore? Hell to the no. I got my own money. We're getting a divorce. I thought that that's what she was doing, but it just doesn't seem like she's securing any kind of bag, because he puts her out of the house. Then she goes back to the house. They have a huge argument. He gives her these flowers and, he talks to her about, not supporting her mom. And this is the thing. I understand, right? Her mom, she's her mom. She's not a child. So it's not his child, right? However, when you marry somebody, you marry them and you marry the family. It is what it is. Like, you're not going to be able to separate somebody from their family, because if you do that, it'll be all good for you guys, but there's going to be a resentment there that builds and it turns on you. I always say never get involved in family, because let me tell you something. Me and my sisters, ciao. First of all, I'm the middle kid and I am weird as hell. I am nothing like my sisters. We get into some WWF Monday Night Wrestling knockdown, drag out fights, and are fine 5 minutes later. You cannot, even after me and my sister have just cussed each other out to the high heavens, you can't say nothing about her. You can, even if you're defending me, because that's my blood. That is my family. I got a cousin who I can't stand. And ironically, it's not the drug dealing one, hypothetically. But nobody can say anything to me about her. Like, you can't talk. Oh, shoot, I didn't get. Like, you can't. Well, it is what it is. You can't say anything to me about her. Like, you can't come at her. That's my family. I mean, we might not get along. That's not for you to get in. Never get involved with family, because although Ashley said, oh yeah, I'm going to learn and I'm just, keep my mom and my finances separate and she's just going to have to help herself. She's saying that now. That woman gave birth to her. That woman pulled Ashley out of her vagina. There is a bond there you will never understand and you will never break, Michael. So for her to say it's all cool now, I'm like, buddy, she's just saying whatever she has to say because she don't have the money to pay for the for that house or that apartment that she just moved out of. Because if Ashley had the coin, she would not be going back to Michael, because she was dreading leaving that apartment. Even her friend, who knew the real tea, but was coming on that show to act as a support for her. But her friend knew exactly what was going on, and she did not want her to go back to him. But Ashley hasn't stacked any kind of coin. So she got to go back to that abusive situation. And this is the thing with, like, women, I'm just speaking of women because of the women on this show, men too, like people who marry people for money. That is their thing. when you marry a person who is wealthy or who has money, and they, no Tino shade, but Michael, you know, later on in the season, he starts to look like Gollum, okay? You know what I mean? Even on his best day, he couldn't get an Ashley. Let's be real here. So he knows that she's there for the money. These people know, especially the men. These men know that these women are with them for money, so that's why they treat them so poorly, okay? Out here in LA, there are women who date, like, it's so common. I know a few, okay? And it's just like, you don't even look down on it. It's just like, girl, you got to get your rent paid. It is what it is. But there are women who date very wealthy men, young women who date very wealthy men who look like, just let's be honest, chewed up afterbirth, okay? They look a hot mess, and they know it. They know they're hideous. They know they can never get a woman like that. They know that the woman is only with them for money. They treat them like garbage. They have them doing all kinds of sick sexual things to them because they know that they're there for the coin. When you love somebody, you treat them differently. Michael knows that Ashley is there for the bag, so he can throw her out, tell her to cut her mother off and all of this stuff, talk down to her, mistreat her, because he knows that at the end of the day, she has what he wants. It's not his heart. It's not his love. It's not his affection. It's not his presence. It's his bank account, and he knows that, and he inadvertently like hates her for that, because he probably, you know, would really want to love her, but he can't because he knows that it's an arrangement. He knows that she's here for the money, and so there's this hate that comes out whenever she does something that he disagrees with. And this whole coming in between her and her mom, I don't believe it for 1 second. Like, even a toxic parent, you can't separate a kid from them. They still have a bond there that you just can't break. And I think that she's saying what he wants to hear, but she's never going to separate from her mom. She's never going to stop supporting her mother. Like, I don't know, when she was listing the things that she's done for her mom, she got her mom a house and she got her mom a car. Like, I get that's his money, but when you marry, like, you become that's the thing with people today. Like, I feel like marriage is just, like, the definition of marriage is just not the same today as what it is in, like, the textbooks, you know what I mean? It's like you legally joined everything together. Yes, there may be a prenup, but everybody knows that prenups don't really hold up in court like that anymore. So that becomes your money unless you have an understanding that this is separate of that. So Ashley is taking the money that he gives her, the money that he wants her to spend on her. She spends it on her mom. And I don't think that's wrong. I feel like if I was in a situation where I was with somebody who made a lot of money and my mom needed a house, I would be like, babe, now maybe the issue is she didn't tell him. Maybe that's it. But I would let my man know, my mom needs a home. My mom needs a vehicle. Because let the tables turn, and it's Michael's mom. He would want Ashley to help out with that. Like, let his mom or his parents or whatever, if they're still alive, get sick. They move into that house. He would want his wife to help take care of his parents. While he's out working and making a bacon or whatever, he would want his wife wiping his mom's behind while she goes to the bathroom and washing his father and all. That comes with the territory. When you marry somebody, you take everything on. You take on the mother's bankruptcy. You take on the mother's need for housing. You take on those things of your partner, and you do that because you love them and you want to join your life with them forever. When you are in an arrangement or when you are marrying a person for something other than them or just for what they can provide, you get annoyed very easily at the things that they do. And because this is a situationship with Ashley and Michael, he knows that she's with him for the money, so he holds her by that coin so, like, terribly, and she falls for it every time. I'm hoping that the girl is smart. I'm hoping that she's stacking. I'm hoping that she's going to make this an interesting season and does more with this show and does stuff outside of the show so she can secure a bag and get out of this situation, because it's just very hard to watch. Like, we all know what it is, and it's just uncomfortable seeing this grown woman be so dumb. And I'm like, girl, before it gets too late, you know what I mean? Like, before them features start, like, leaving you better do what you can with this body, okay? And make it work for you. Is she educated? I don't know. I mean, if she's smart, like Ashley, start using what you got to make a better life for yourself and get out of this situation. She's the only housewife that I know that's in a bad marriage that is still on and on this show and hasn't used this show as a way to leap into something better. It's unfortunate. And can we also talk about how happy Ashley is that Karen is having tax problems? Every time that she hears that Karen, hears about Karen's tax problems, she has I feel like she's beaming with joy, or she's trying to hold back, she can't hold back her smile, so she's always like, oh. Like, she can't hold back the fact that she's excited that this woman is having a really tough time. Like I said before, I was in and out of this show for both seasons. If you know why Ashley is so elated that Karen is struggling right now, please let me know in the comment section below, because I don't know the history, I just feel like she was just being so terrible. But if there's a reason behind her being elated that Karen is struggling, let her sister know. Oh, I forget her name, but we're just going to talk about her briefly. The new girl who's always talking about the money, I'm concerned for her. I really, really am, because I don't know if she's going to be in this marriage for a very long time. I feel like, and I could just be reaching here, but I feel like her trying to have another child is her trying to save a marriage just breaking apart, because I don't know, the mom last season was giving me an inkling that there is something going on with her and him, because the mom is very adamant about not liking this girl. And I'm like, for what? What happened? It can't just be my mother-in-law don't like me. For the mother-in-law to come on national TV, know that she's mic'd and call you a heifer, and then the brother or cousin or whatever laughs about it. There's something going on that we don't know. And I feel like behind the scenes, this marriage is crinkling. And that's what they do all the time. They look very happy and together. And then the next season, she's crying in her confessional talking about how they're divorcing. I feel like this is a save a marriage baby that she's trying to conceive. And I just don't buy it. I feel like her whole presence is very fake, and talking about I'm spending this much money on this, and I'm overworked, my nanny just quit. Your nanny quit because of you. Let me tell you something, a nanny is not going to leave a cush job. Nanny is getting paid well, she will deal with the worst of the worst. Y'all not giving her enough coin to deal with somebody like you, who is another person keeping up appearances, but does not seem like they are. I don't want to say she don't love her kids, because I don't want to come off like that, but she does not seem like she's the mom that's very hands-on. And that's okay, because there's a lot of rich women who, can we just be real? A lot of rich people have other people raising their kids. It is what it is. And I feel like she's the type of mom who will get the kids for a nice picture, do the whole appearances thing for the birthdays and all this stuff. And not saying she don't love her children, but I feel like when there's difficulties, she probably might pass them on to somebody that she's paying to deal with the tears and the scrapes and the abuses and all that stuff. So I don't, you know what I mean? So I'm not buying her whole facade. I feel like there's something more going on there. And I feel like for that nanny to leave, it's something more there. We're not getting the full story, guys. I feel like she is faking, and there is something going on behind the scenes that we will not see until it all falls down. And it's going to be a shocker to some people, but to me, I'm like, there's something else. There is something going on. You and your husband moved from this really big house to an even bigger house that looks like a freaking resort. I'll give her that. She can find a nice sized house. The styling has always been questionable, but she country. So I don't know. There's something going on with her, guys. There really, really is. I just feel like there's something brewing. Maybe the marriage is falling apart. I feel like, I don't know. I felt like this baby was a save on my marriage baby. And she's making it seem like everything is so grandiose. And I feel like she's doing the most to make us believe that everything is okay. And I don't think it is. Robin was another reason why I stopped watching this show. I just couldn't take it. I felt like she was verbally abused by her kids and mentally abused by her ex-husband, who was just, I don't know. I think I really checked out when he was still mic'd, and he was talking to the producer about how much he did not like her and could not stand being in the same space with her. And I just feel like she's very delusional. Like when he was dating other people, Juan, when he was dating other people, she was still saying that he loved her. And then like when he would mistreat her, her sons would do it. And I just felt like she was living in a sea of abuse from, you know, tall and bite-sized men. It was just a horrible situation to watch on TV. And to see that she's back with this man, I'm like, girl, I really want to see Robin get some common sense. But she seems to me like the kind of girl, no shade to light-skinned people who have, like, you know, not passing, but you know, you got that kind of, those features of privilege, you know what I mean? Like you could, they won't shoot you right away. They'll make sure I'm dead first, and then maybe shoot you in the leg and then stare at your roots and then kill you. You know what I mean? So I just feel like she's been somebody who has been carried around her whole life, and she does not know how to go at it alone, or she's probably afraid of that because she just doesn't know what it's like. Like she does not know. And I also feel like she was probably somebody, I don't know a lot about her parents, but I feel like maybe she saw her situation when she was growing up, like her relationship is her parents' relationship, and she's like that type of girl that feels like this is normal, and everybody else doesn't understand, but this is how a woman stands by her man and supports him. And I'm like, a marriage is a partnership. You are not supposed to be a doormat for your man. Like the moment he goes outside the marriage, it's done. You don't gotta stay. But I just don't think that she could go at it, that she wants to go at it alone. I don't think she knows how. I, as a viewer, would love to see her do it alone. I would love to see her tough up and be that strong single parent, you know what I mean, who is making a name for herself, a woman who is of a particular age, who realized that she not only wants but deserves better. And she's going to get respect from her kids. She's going to get respect from her ex. She's going to get respect, love, and honor from the next man in her life if she chooses that. But I don't know. I just would love to see her travel. I would love to see her start a business or something, or be the face of something. I just would love to see her in a life where she is appreciated and not stepped on. But I don't think she sees that for herself. And that's unfortunate. And it's already a problem watching it, because I don't know, guys, I get a pit in my stomach when I watch her. Like I get uneasy, like nauseous watching her scenes, because it's so sad. It really, really is. And now he's sleeping with her again. And I feel like that, like, no shade. I feel like he's giving her, you know, shut up, dick. You know what I mean? Like there was no other way to explain it. But you know, just to keep her chill, I'll have sex with her from time to time so she won't be in my business or worrying about if I'm with somebody else. And I also feel like Juan did this like 180 because this new job. Like he can't be on national TV being verbally abusive to the mother of his kids. Like this is what happens with a lot of coaches, a lot of athletes, a lot of politicians. They make these men and women live in this idea of a happy family home. You know what I mean? Like you have to be married. You have to, especially with athletes with endorsements, they make them get married so young. I think it's so stupid to be, especially. And they make them marry the mother of their kids. And a lot of times they got together when they were young, and they're just different people now, and it didn't work. You know what I mean? But they make them marry the mother of their kids so that they could be the family guy that, you know, advertisers want to endorse their product. You know what I mean? Nobody wants a single man to be the face of their product unless it's like Gillette. You know what I mean? But if it's McDonald's, they want the family. If it's a Verizon, they want the family man. And I think that's what's happening with Juan. Like he just can't be out there slinging little Juan all around, or big Juan, so I've been told, all around, you know, Potomac, and still keep this coaching job, because he has to be an example to not only the university, but to the young men who he's coaching. And I feel like that's the only reason why he's back in this marriage or situationship. I feel like that's the only reason why he moved home. That's the only reason why he's agreeing to do all this stuff, because he has to keep up this appearance of a family man. I could be wrong. I hope I'm wrong. But I just don't feel like he would have a 180 within such a short amount of time, when every time that I have watched him on the show for the 2 seasons I was in and out of, he was always awful. I don't know, guys. Let me know what you think about Juan and this Robin situation in the comment section below. Where's I forget her name as well, but she was a brown skinned lady who looked like Steve Harvey in drag. Where is she at? I liked her on the season from what I would see. I didn't mind her being on the show. Is she coming in the season later, or has she been cut from the show? What happened to her? I think she would be a great addition to all of the drama that's going on, because I just feel like there's a lot of drama. It's probably going to be a lot of fighting. And I felt like, for me, when I watched her, she was the one who I felt like was always trying to bring the girls together. I don't know. I miss her presence. We need somebody who is trying to bring the girls together, because it's not going to be Robin, who, I'm so sorry I skipped over this. I totally disliked how she came for the Grand Dame. And I get it. She can totally be upset that she's being played, because I do believe that the Grand Dame was playing her and trying to get, I feel like what she was doing was getting out the tea first before everybody started talking about it. So she went to somebody who was easily, manipulated, and told her about everything. Basically wanted her to be the mouthpiece to take it back, because she would take it back with her side, you know what I mean? So I get Robin being upset because she felt played. I also believe that Robin sitting down with her and going after her was producer prodding. It just didn't seem organic to me. I felt like she was doing it because the producers wanted the Grand Dame, or Karen, I think that's her name. Yeah, they wanted her to really talk about the situation instead of giving, the same Teresa Giudice answers that everything is okay. It's not on me. He's fine. We have money. We're this and we're that. Because Robin just went so hard out of nowhere. And she was like insulting her. And the thing about it is, you want to be on Robin's side, but then she like goes left and says something. And you're like, girl, wait, what? Hold on. Like, take her down, but take her down with some class. Like, take her down in a way that I could appreciate it. Because I'm siding with you, because I do feel like she was playing you. But then you're like sitting here throwing these shots at her, and I'm like, okay. Regardless of how you feel about the fact that she played you, this is still something really serious. And Robin was just, she was taking, I don't know. I just feel like she wasn't backing down, and she was taking cheap shots. Take reasonable shots and just be like, I felt like you played me. I felt like you used me, and I was on board. But as I thought about it a bit, my feelings were hurt, something like that. But she was just, I don't know, they were just really below the belt. And I'm like, wait, I'm riding for you. Hold on. Let's get on the same train. I don't know. I just didn't like it. I didn't like what she did. And I felt like for the first time in her life, she should have listened to Juan, who was like, don't even go there with her. Just meet with her or whatever. Don't get into it. If you feel like she played, just move past it. I felt like she would have been in a Robin, to me, would have been in a much better situation if she either moved past it or addressed it in a way that wasn't so tacky. But that's what happens when a producer gives you a script and you stick to it. You stick to that script. It doesn't look like you. And that's what I felt. It just didn't seem like it was Robin. But again, I've been in and out of the show. Maybe she's this messy. It just seemed to me she just turned on her so quickly. It just came out of nowhere. And maybe it's the editing. And then they're just showing us just bits and pieces of the dinner. But I don't know. I was caught off guard like the Grand Dame. I was like, wait, hold on. So it was awkward. It was a very awkward lunch meeting. And I left that scene feeling bad for the Grand Dame when I was on Team Robin. So I don't think it went for her the way she hoped it would go for her. But anyway, that's essentially where it ends. That was the most that I really wanted to talk about. That was the most interesting things to me that happened in this episode. Let me know what you think about this episode in the comments section below. And if you have any additional tea that you think I need to know, because again, I don't know a lot about this show because I've been in and out. I remember there was one girl who was dating this Jewish guy, and then they like broke up, and she became like mad Afrocentric. Like on Instagram, she's like shaved off her head. She started getting braids, started posting about Black Lives Matter. And I was like, was the white peen scrambling your mind the the whole time, and when you got done banging him, you got back to black. I don't know what happened, but she was interesting, but she's not there anymore. There's a new girl coming in. She seems like she's going to be doing the most. I don't know, but I think it's nice that they have a little bit of melanin, because I just felt like Potomac was like the Creole. The Creole, franchise of the Housewives. I'm interested to see where this will go, because the trailer coming into this episode looked very interesting. So I'll stick with the show for a minute. As long as it keeps me entertained, I'm here. Let me know what you think about it. Give me any additional tea in the comment section below. And before you leave, please like, comment, subscribe, and share. And I will see you for the following episode of The Real Housewives of Potomac. Did I talk about Giselle? No, I didn't. I don't think she had really anything interesting. Giselle has a type. There's a type of black man that Giselle likes, and baby, I ain't hating. I love a man from the Congo as well. What else does she do? Oh, I think if her husband wants full custody, or her ex, if he wants Bishop, if you want full custody of them kids, you got some sound bites from this episode, because feeding them kids Cheetos for dinner, that's not gonna look good in court. See y'all. Bye.